What's going on, guys? Welcome to this channel where I'm very excited to start up with the first video of this channel, which is going to be a very simple introduction to After Effects, and it's going to be teaching you how to do a very simple intro on After Effects itself. I will be doing videos more in the future on covering the basics of After Effects and stuff, but for now I just wanted to do a simple intro for my channel. I haven't actually made one. This will be the intro that I'm going to use for this channel. It will be the intro that you've just seen in this video, which I'll repeat again in a minute. But we're going to do a simple intro for this channel, and if you're excited for this, then stick around, watch the video, see how you do it. If you want it yourself, then go down in the description below. You can go to my Twitter account and you can go ahead and message me on there. I can, for $2, send it to you, then you're able to edit it yourself. Or if you want me to edit it for yourself, edit your colors and the text and stuff, and I can do that for you. If you're a bit strapped for time, that will be $4 for yourself, but we can get into that a little bit later on in the channel. That's down in the description below, but I would advise you to do this yourself. It doesn't take that long to do once you figured out how to actually do it yourself. I'll be going a little bit slower just to make sure you guys understand exactly what you need to do in order to make yourself a pretty decent intro. So we're going to go straight into the After Effects on the computer, and here we are on After Effects on the computer. What you want to do when you've got this screen right here is go over to New Project. And once you go into New Project, just go into a new composition. It will ask you then to rename your composition and everything. So I'm going to rename this to Intro. And then down below here, we're going to change the duration from 30 seconds of the timeline, and we're going to change it into 10 seconds. That way, it will just be a little bit shorter and everything will be easier to find rather than having a really long timeline. Everything else should be okay. You can change frame rate to 24 frames per second if you wish. A lot of people prefer that type of thing because it's more what they do in film. I'm going to change it to 24 frames a second, and obviously we want a width 1920 by height 1080. That'll be full HD quality. You want everything like that. Once you've got all this set up, press OK. Now what you have on screen is After Effects itself with no timeline or anything just yet. You do have a composition which we have named Intro, which is just over here on the left hand side. What you want to do is come over to the top over here and press on this rectangular tool which is at the top. Press that, and then you want to make sure your fill is actually on empty, so you want to click on the word fill itself. You want to press the line with the white box which says none, so press that. Now make sure there's no fill inside the actual square. Then you want to press stroke, and you can change this to another color if you wish to. I really like the look of white, so I'm going to go ahead and keep it to white. And we can change the pixel to 10, 12, whatever. I personally want to go for 12. And once you've got that, what you can do is draw yourself a rectangle roughly about this size, this shape, whatever you want. You can actually change it later on, so it doesn't matter too much. Then you can go over here to the little tool right there. You can just move it around. But a good way to center it is to go down on the right hand side just here and find yourself the align. And then you want to click the second one in, which will align horizontally. And then you want to click the second to last, which will align vertically. That'll put it dead center in the middle. And then what you want to do from there is come over to the left hand side into your actual little project area. Go to rectangle 1 and open it up. Go to rectangle path, and what you want to do straight away is change the path direction. This basically just changes the direction of what I had in the intro, but if you want to do it the other way around, you can do that. It doesn't really matter too much for now. Then you can open up the stroke and you can change the color, opacity, stroke width, etc. So if you decided that 12 was a bit too thick, you can change it to 14, or you can change it to 7, and you can see on the screen right there, it actually does change, but I do like the width of 12, so we're going to keep with 12. We'll close stroke back up, and then what you want to do is actually go over here to the add button on the right hand side just here. And you've got all these little options, but for now we're going to keep it simple. We're going to go to add a trim path. Once you've added the trim path, what you want to do is open it up. You've got start, end, and offset. Now what we want to do in this instance is actually go to the start and turn it to 100%. You just saw the rectangle disappear right there. Before you do anything else, you want to make sure you click the little stopwatch just here next to start. This will start a little keyframe. Keyframes are basically where one thing starts, one edit starts and an edit ends. So we'll start the keyframe right there. I'm personally going to go up to about 2 seconds. I think 2 seconds is a good time for an intro. You might decide that your intro could be a bit longer and go to 5 seconds, whatever. But for the basics of this tutorial and for my particular intro, I wanted to go for about 2 seconds. I don't want it to be too long. We're going to go over to the 2 seconds and then turn this down to 0. Automatically that will add the keyframe. And if we go to beginning and press play, that gives us a very simple little rectangle drawn out like that. That's pretty cool. Do you want to edit it a little bit more? We want to add a little bit more flair to it. So what we want to do from here is highlight these keyframes, right click, keyframe assist, go to easy ease. And then once you've done that, you want to come over here to the graph editor, go into the graph editor itself, and you've got this little squiggly line. And don't worry if you've never seen this before, if you've seen this type of thing and you're a little bit uncomfortable with it. It's not that hard to get used to, and it will take you a few tries to get used to it. And this right here is basically what we're going to do right here is edit the speed. So what we want to first of all do is right click, and you've got all these different options, we want to go to edit speed graph, and that will turn it into like a U shape. What this does is tells it where to speed up and where to slow down in the graph itself. So I'm just going to mess around with this a little bit so you can highlight each section, and it will then give you the yellow little line right there. I'm going to bring this around to roughly there, and I'm going to bring this one there as well. So then what this is going to do is change the path slightly, or change the speed slightly of the rectangle being drawn out like this. So as you can see there, it started off slow and then it's sped up in the middle. I think that's a little bit too fast, so we're going to bring this back a little bit, maybe this one back a bit. You just want to experiment until you've got the right look. I'm going to go with that one because I actually do like the look of that one. We're going to carry on right there, and that's basically your rectangle done right there, almost. And by almost, what I mean is that you can add an offset. And now an offset is going to basically push the line a little bit at the beginning. It's going to give it a little bit more life. It's going to just make it look a little bit more better. So we're going to have a little experiment with this right now, and I would suggest you to experiment with this as well, just to see like what you think works with what you're trying to go for. So what you want to do right here is go over to the offset, to the second little digits, and you can like reverse this or like go to the plus or whatever. I think reversing looks better because it's the direction it goes, and then you can press the little stopwatch right there as well to add another keyframe. Then you can go over to the 2 seconds mark or so, or you could go a bit further. Actually, I might go for 3 seconds, see how that looks, and then go for like a -78 roughly or so, and then see how this looks. So as you can see right there, by doing that, by adding that keyframe, if we play it again, it starts to move at the beginning and at the end. So the end catches up with the beginning, but the beginning is also moving away. So I think that just adds a little bit more like coolness to it, a little bit more professional looking to the rectangle itself. Now for now, we're going to leave the rectangle right there. We can edit this graph editor, and then we're back on our timeline. You can see the little edits right here. So you've got the keyframes right there. These keyframes have, oh, let me move that one back. These keyframes were the ones that we highlighted a minute ago in easy ease. So again, if we play it, the rectangle was there, and so far we're doing pretty well. If you've managed to keep up so far, then congratulations. It isn't that hard. Once you get used to this program, it's actually very simple. Now I'm going to collapse the shape layer just to make it a little bit more easy to like use and everything. What I'm going to do from here is go over to the text, and we're going to add the text. Now you could choose any text layer that you want. I'm going to go for a particular one called Tasty Sushi, but first of all, we're going to open up text box. We're going to type in whatever you want. You can put in subscribe for more. You can put in the name of your channel. In my case, I'm going to put in the name of my channel, which is going to be called Jamie Green, which is my name. And we can then edit this. So I'm going to first of all change the font of it. So wherever Tasty Sushi is, I could actually type it in if I wanted to. There we go. I'm going to go for the first one right there, Tasty Sushi, and then right here with the 2 T's, I've got 36px. What we're going to do is actually going to increase the size. And one thing I just forgot, which is very important to do before you do anything else, is you want to come down to paragraph. You want to make sure it's centered. If it's centered, then it just looks a lot more professional. It looks a lot better. We go back to character, and then we can carry on aligning our text. And then we can also, if we wanted to, like use the VA tool just to spread out the text a little bit. This spaces out the text in between each letter, and it just makes it wider without having to actually increase the size of it with the height. We can then move it down a little bit if we want to. And what we actually can do as well, if you wanted to, go to align, and we can align it again like we did with the rectangle. This should make it very, very centered. There we go. So now we've got something that looks a little bit like this. Again, it looks really nice, but if we play it from the beginning, this is what we've got. Just the name with the rectangle going around it. Still looks pretty good, but we can make it better. From here, what we're going to do is go over to the right hand side to the Effects and Presets tab. And once it opens up and loads and everything, we can then go ahead and type in text. We find text, we have to collapse it and reopen it again. For some reason, it doesn't bring up with all the options. But we go into text, and what we want to find is the animate in option. We go down, and the one I want to actually use is one called a random fade up. With random fade up, you can add it into the text right there, and the random fade up is actually gone. What we want to do is actually open this up and add the random fade up to the beginning. So the arrow over here on the left hand side is to open it up, or you could ultimately press U on the keyboard as well. U will bring up all the keyframes as well. So whichever you decide to do, U on the keyboard is probably the easier if you want to go like faster. But what we want to do is bring these keyframes to the beginning by highlighting them and bringing them over here like so. And then what we've got now is something that looks a little bit like this. So just by adding that random fade up effect, it just brings more life into it, and it brings like a lot more flair to it. Now there's so many different effects you could do here. I mean, there's like so many to play with. I've not even seen them all, and I'm sure you could probably find one that looks even like better for your style and everything. But again, for the sake of this video, we want to just go for something like that, very simple. So again, if we play it from the beginning, looks pretty decent. What you can do if you want to at this point is actually change like the color. So if you go to T over here, you can like highlight, say, the last word. So we'll highlight my name, go over to color, which is over here on the right hand side, which is white. We can then drag it to the red, and then there we go, we got red. We'll stick it at that for now, just as an example. We'll play from the beginning, and then you've got two different colors. You can even change like anything about it. Very simple. Always just make sure to use the T in the top, or Control T on the keyboard in order to select it. I'll keep it red for now, just so it looks a little bit different and not all white. Okay, so from here, what we're gonna do is actually go to Shape Layer 1 and we're gonna duplicate it. Now the way to duplicate is, first of all, you have to highlight Shape Layer 1 by clicking on it. Then you wanna press Control C and then Control V. It's the exact same way you would copy and paste anything on a computer. It's the same way in Adobe After Effects. So once you've done that, what you wanna do is go over to Shape Layer 2, press the arrow, and you want to go to Content, Rectangle 1, and bring it down. From here, you want to go to Stroke 1, and then that will bring up all these other options. And this is actually the stroke itself. So the stroke is the rectangle that we have, because the stroke is just the outline. But because we have no fill, the stroke is literally the rectangle that we have. So from here, we can change the color, the opacity, the stroke width, anything. But for layer number 2, what we're going to do is change the stroke width to 17 or so, just to make it a bit thicker. And you haven't seen anything on here just yet, because I've actually got it right to the beginning of my timeline before anything pops up. But you'll see in a minute what happens. So we're going to collapse that, and then we're going to do the same thing to Shape Layer 1, but with a slight difference. So we're going to go to Layer 1, open it up, and we're going to go down to Rectangle, and then we're going to go to Stroke 1. So we had Trim Path, we're going to close that one and go to Stroke 1. And then instead of changing the stroke width, we're going to keep it at 12. Instead, we're going to change the color to a red as well. We're going to keep it to the same as what I just changed my name to. I should really change it to green, maybe it would have gone with the name, but it doesn't matter. We change it to red, the same color as what my name is, and we can go over here now and collapse it, and hopefully this worked correctly. We've got something that looks a little bit like this. Now, that's no different to what it is, because one thing that I forgot to do is with the Shape Layer 2, if you offset it ever so slightly, you then get something that looks a little bit like this. Now you can offset this a little bit more, a little bit less, depending on what you decide to do. Now, I don't know if you actually notice, but I'll offset it just a tad bit more to see if you notice. On the outline, you've got an outline red line that just, the white line follows the red line. So again, I'll show you. And if that's something you want to have in your intro, then that's really cool. Like, what I'm going to do right now is go ahead and change the color of my name to, I don't know, like a green, like I said I'll do. And then what we'll do is go to Shape Layer 1. We'll change the color to the same green. So when you go into color, click the little eyedrop tool, and then you want to go over to the green. This just makes sure that the color stays the exact same, because obviously there's so many different colors of green and colors of blue, red, etc. So by doing that, it actually keeps to the exact same color of red and green and blue or whatever. In this case, we're keeping to the exact same green. So that to me looks a little bit better. Red is a bit too harsh. I do like the color green. I might change it after this video. I'm not too sure just yet. Okay, so I'm going to show you one more major thing, which is going to be to add a camera. This is going to add so much more into your project. And first thing we want to do with doing this is to enable these 3 boxes right here, or however many boxes you have. This is to make it 3D, and it's next to the pick whip tool, which is this little circle thing here. We'll go into that in another video because we don't really need to use it for this video. But what you want to know for now is this is like the 3D box. You want to enable that before you can add a camera. So what you want to do from there is right click, go to new, and then go to camera. You got a camera right here. I'm going to go for preset 35. That's a pretty good size to go with for now. And then you've got a camera right there. So what we want to do is go ahead and click it, and then go to the arrow, go down to transform. You want to find position. Once you find position, come over here so you can see like the majority of your project. Then you want to click the stopwatch on the position, which is the second one down. And then what you want to do is bring it back ever so slightly to like around here or so you can see roughly what you've got, and you can again change where the little like keyframes go. But you want to bring it back here so you know where you're zooming in on, and we're going to zoom in on the project itself. So let's zoom in. I want to zoom in all the way so you can't see any of the letters. So we've zoomed in enough here, and I'm going to bring this keyframe back to like there maybe. And then what we've got is the camera zooming out with the effect still going on with everything else. Now, I think if we bring this keyframe way closer, so we got something like that, and then you can mess around with the keyframes so you can like zoom it out towards you as quick or as slow as you wish. We'll bring the keyframe up a bit. I think that was a bit too quick. That I really like. We'll play that again. So the camera zooms out. The camera zooms out like that, and it stops just there while the animation is halfway through with the edge and with the name coming through. So to me, for a simple intro, that's actually pretty decent. Again, I might change the color or something. Could even change the font. So even at this point, you can go over to the T at the top, highlight the font, and you can go to like any font you want. So as an example, let's go to Terminal, and maybe because my text is too big. There we go. So again, we got the same thing. Doesn't matter about the text at all or the font, so it will work with any font. We've got that, and that's perfect. That's basically everything I wanted to show you in this little quick tutorial. Like I said, I can do this for you guys. Obviously I will charge because I need to make a living somehow, so I'm going to turn this back to Tasty Sushi, and then we're going to go up to, what is it, like 300 and something. We'll bring it back down ever so slightly, and we're back to normal. I can do this for you guys. You can either download it, like if you want to go on my Twitter and for $2, and then I can send you the file. Or if you want me to actually do this yourself, so if you want to say to me, I want this word, or I want the word subscribe in this color, and I want it in this font or whatever, you can send that to me. I'll charge like $4 for it or something, just something very small so you guys can actually do this for an affordable price. It's a very simple intro, so I'm going to be doing more of this in the future. I'll be doing, like I said, Photoshop tutorials, Premiere Pro tutorials, After Effects, and Lightroom. I want to be able to do as much as I can for you guys, and I want these tutorials to be as easy to follow as possible. This is my first time doing this type of thing, especially in After Effects, like first time doing a tutorial. I know there's some jump cuts, so I'm hoping when it comes to the edit that it's actually easy to follow. So if it is easy to follow, then I'm very happy that that's gone that way. If you guys could please leave me, like, down in the comment section below, like suggestions on how these videos could be easier to follow, or if I did a good job, then just let me know so then I can carry on doing that type of thing. Without that being said, I think that's everything I need to say in this video. So thank you guys so very much for watching this video. I hope I didn't rabble on too much, and I hope it was easy to follow. Yeah, with that being said, just be creative with your ideas and just try and come up with something new. I'll catch you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching. Hit the bell icon, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.